Hey, have you ever had somebody compliment you on your sensitivity? Not as a liability, but as a strength. Some folks have a texture in their presence. There's something about being in their proximity that has a knack for being able to shake loose the sediment in the depths of other people's oceans. That kind of person, they can enter a space and sense the temperature of a conversation that's happening. They can scan a room and see who's upset and masking it, and who's masking it and totally nailing it. It's a specific kind of intelligence. It's one that doesn't show up on a test. It doesn't have a certificate. It's a sensitivity that is innate, inheritable, and it equips a person to be able to feel and carry pain and emotion, feelings that other people have learned how to nod and pass by. It's not called smart in the ways that we usually reference things being smart. But take it out of the room and watch what happens. This world tells you that a sensitivity like that is a liability. I've heard that too. But the world also falls apart without you. In recent years, I've come to really understand, really let it sink in, that a sensitivity at that level, at that strength, it's not a flaw. It's a real capacity. And choosing what to do with how you feel is the skill that comes with that capacity. Sadly, it's often not taught. People don't educate one another about it because really nobody even admits that a strength like that or an IQ like that is a real intelligence. Honestly, this form of sensitivity at this level of intensity can make a person feel like a museum full of mirrors, which is fine and beautiful even, just so long as the people who come walking in can face to stand their own reflection. Because when they come in and they receive that presence, they experience that proximity, that texture, without knowing how to sit with themselves, you can become their catalyst without consenting to it. And if this is resonating with you, I want you to know that you are someone else's Wilson. Right now, today, there's a person in your life who's breathing easier because you're in it. And they may never have told you that. The world needs help learning what you provide naturally through your presence. And you need to learn how to put on your armor. Because you deserve to choose what you carry instead of feeling obligated to absorb everything within range. You can think of it like sonar, the same kind a whale or a bat use. It's a signal that's sent out into the darkness, and it comes back changed, reflecting everything, the shape of everything it touched. You've been sending out signals into the darkness your whole life. And so have I. And they've been coming back heavy, full, carrying the shape of every person, every room, every unspoken hurt. And that's not a weakness. It's a kind of seeing that most people will go their entire lives without. Here's what I really need you to understand, what I want you to hear from me, not as a compliment, but as a fact. That sensitivity, those rosy glasses that can't help but want to love the whole world whole, that is not a sensitivity that makes you weak or naive. That sensitivity is linked to hope, and hope doesn't grow in happy spaces. Our world moves fast, unbearably fast, and it rewards people who can detach enough from their emotions, their feelings, their experience, what they see, what they feel. It rewards people who can detach hard enough to uphold a status quo. But in spite of that, someone, somewhere today, they looked in the mirror and smiled at themselves because of a compliment that you gave them in passing. In a society, in a world, in a global culture that so infrequently understands, let alone will accommodate a sensitive nervous system, someone out there is holding on to a piece of your artwork and feels the love that you left in it. Someone's breathing easier tonight because you noticed them and because you chose to stay at the table when everybody else left. Feeling everything is something that you're born with. It's an inheritable sensitivity, a difference in nervous system functioning, and choosing what to do with that, with what you feel, that's the skill. And because this process is invisible, largely unconscious, sensitive individuals like that can spend years of their life really holding on to an internalized point of view of themselves, one that never belonged to them. You know the kind, too emotional, too intense, too sensitive, too much. What I'm really saying here is that sometimes, tragically, a sensitive person, they can go their whole life never really noticing, never really knowing that they were carrying such a gift with them. Without meaning to, this kind of person, they become a mirror to their family, their friends, and strangers, reflecting other people's unconscious hopes and dreams, their expectations. And while the people in their lives, they might leave that space feeling lighter, clearer, or more themselves, the person who holds that mirror with that sensitivity, they can be left with a weight, sort of emotional residue that's hard to explain. As their presence exposes the feelings and emotions that other people work hard to avoid, a sensitive one can unconsciously be pulled into a painful cycle. They transmute sorrow without recognition. They absorb tension and confusion without flinching. And because this sensitive person is unaware of the transaction taking place just below the surface, they become skilled in self-sacrifice to fill the gap. And that's driven by an unconscious hijacking of their nervous system, their own nervous system. When they're unaware of their gift and under-equipped to protect it, that nervous system will be unknowingly, unconsciously, non-consentingly recruited into stabilizing an emotional atmosphere around them. When that happens, projection and resentment can gather around like a weather system. Old wounds remember themselves, and relationships toggle between a dependency and rejection. And that's happening because the person outside of that sensitive mirror is relying on the emotional insight while simultaneously blaming that person for the discomfort that it brings. Their strength can illuminate what family systems have spent generations sometimes trying to avoid or refuse acknowledging. And like a spiritual hangover, it's not until the next day that that person understands how their nervous system was repurposed as a sort of filter for collective pain. And some folks keep that up until one day their body makes a decision that their mind won't. And if that's where you are now, if you've been giving so much your body started shutting things down without permission, find someone to carry it with you. Someone who can hold the things that are too heavy to sort out on your own. That's not quitting. It's the smartest thing. It's the smartest thing a person who feels everything can do. But when it finally lands in a sensitive person, that their energy, their texture, their muchness, when they finally realize what a profound and valuable trait that is, a gift worth protecting, they start to develop the skills to choose how and when to use their energy, when to share their gift, and when to redirect it toward their own healing, their own path, their own art. For them, life can begin moving again. Their intuition sharpens and creativity and motivation can start to reemerge. It's like finally their mind and body have shaken hands and agreed to soften out of survival mode together. In many cases, the most emotionally sensitive individual in the room is also the strongest one. Another one of those Pier 1 statements, the kind that sounds sweet on the surface like Instagram, but we so rarely really let it land. You know, the people who told you to buck up, to grow a tougher, thicker skin, called you too sensitive, or even said that you were exhausting. The problem isn't that you felt that. It's that it was absorbed. Deeply empathetic people can become estranged from their own life force over time. This level of sensitivity is not a weakness. And you've never just been a volleyball, but so much more. So much more than a Wilson. Because the world, it doesn't need more people who look away. Chin up.